What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to cover a few things that we talked about in the previous flyer video. It's the new Mac bundle that they have in this month's flyer, and it comes with the digital voltmeter as well as the amp clamp as well as a really cool test lead set. So in this video we'll take a look at all of these products and what comes in it, and we'll cover some of the basics of what this digital voltmeter will do. So you guys stay tuned, check this one out. All right, guys, like I explained in the intro, Mac's having a deal this month in their flyer where you get the digital voltmeter, you get the amp clamp, and you get the test lead set, and it's all on sale for $349.99. Pretty much $350 will get you everything you need to start doing electrical diagnostics and end up with a really nice voltmeter, amp clamp, and test lead kit. I like the test lead kit so well that I purchased it myself off the Mac truck last Thursday in a video if you hadn't seen it. But in this video, I want to show you some of the features and functions of this voltmeter. It is the EM721 by Mac. So in this kit, you will receive it in a carrying case, and inside the carrying case, along with the voltmeter, you will receive a temperature probe for reading temperatures, and we'll cover all of that in just a minute, a set of test leads, and you will receive an induction pickup clamp. I'll explain to you what all of these do, and we'll go over some of the features and functions of some of the buttons that's in this meter just in a second. I'll get the camera moved, we'll get a good close-up, and we'll cover some of the functions and what each button does, and that way you guys can take a look at this. It's an excellent value for the money, and I feel like this test lead kit with the amp probe and the multimeter will suit most guys perfectly adequate. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so here you can see the multimeter. It's pretty much your average looking multimeter, but it does do a lot of functions, and we'll cover what the dial indicator does as well as what each one of these buttons do. As you see, here's the model number. It's a EM721. And one of the cool things, the screen refresh on this, it does have a bar graph that's on here, and the screen refresh is 20 times a second. So you're going to have real-time information, and it's pretty cool. And it will register RPMs, whether it be from RPM IP, which is your plug wire, or an RPM IG, which goes off of your coil packs. And it'll do cylinders from a 1 cylinder up to a 12 cylinder, a 2 or a 4 cycle engine, as well as your temperature readings up to 2,498 degrees. So you can check catalytic converters and whatnot with that. So let's get into what all of these buttons do and what they stand for and how they work. Okay, the first thing you're going to notice is the large screen. Since this is not my meter, it is a brand new meter, it does belong to Mac, it will have a large readout such as this on there. As you can see, the numbers, and underneath it where the little dashes are, that's going to be the bar graph. So it does refresh the screen at 20 times a second, and the bar graph will work from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. Some of the buttons I want to cover, as you see, it's got a TRIG with a plus or a minus, and that is your trigger slope, and that's used for changing from positive to negative polarity, or that works with RPMs or the duty cycle or also the frequency of the meter. So that's what the TRIG button does. If you see the REL button, you notice there is a USB symbol beside of it. That is the relative mode button. When you press that, it will enter or exit relative mode, and it also turns on or off the USB communication function. This meter can be hooked up to a computer via USB. If you'll notice here, it's got a DWL button. That's going to be your dwell measurement function switch, and that will switch it between resistance and continuity test functions, and it will also mute the meter. As you can see here, it's got the little speaker function on there. Of course, it has a DC and AC button here, and it also, in small print underneath it, it's got a Celsius and Fahrenheit symbol. This button will toggle it between direct current and alternating current, and also in temperature mode, when you have your probe hooked up, it will cycle between Celsius and Fahrenheit. All right, guys, so we're going to run over some of the functions that the dial will let you do and change functionality tests. The first one is going to be volts, whether AC or DC. The next one is going to be millivolts, which is used in DC only. The next one is commonly referred to as ohms, which is a resistance or continuity test. The next one's for a diode mode. The next one's for capacitance, which is measured in microfarads. The next one is going to be temp, for temperature. You use that and you can toggle between Fahrenheit and Celsius by hitting the AC DC button. The next one is going to be your frequency, which is used mostly in non-automotive tests, and it will be in hertz. You're going to have RPMs IP, which is commonly used to measure your RPMs through a spark plug wire. Your RPM IG is going to be used with your RPM IG is going to be used with test leads, and it will be used to measure RPMs through coil packs and stuff like that. You're also going to have your current modes, which are these three here. This is going to be amps, milliamps, and microamps, and it does have an off on this side. All right, guys, and across through here, you will see where your test leads go. They're clearly labeled. As you can see, your common's always your black. It's going to go here, and each one of these are labeled according to how you need to use your meter. Okay, guys, one of the cool features I want to explain to you about this meter, a lot of times hooking up a meter incorrectly will cause it to blow a fuse, or it could actually damage your meter. It could damage your meter to the point where it would have to be sent in for repairs, and you'd have to spend a good bit of money on it. One of the cool things about this meter, as you see inside of here, it's got these covers that prevent you from plugging your meter into that. And the reason why, when you turn your dial, it'll only let you plug your meters into the ones that it needs. As you can see here, it's fixing to move. See, it cleared the amp hole because we have it on the 10 amp setting. So it will keep you from having to smoke your meter. Of course, your black's always going to be in the common, but you can't plug it in any other setting because it's not right for the meter. It will only go in the one that it needs. And once you move it around to milliamp, you can see the amp side is blocked and the milliamp is open. So that will let you plug it in there. It's just another cool function that's with this meter that I believe adds value to it to keep you from damaging your meter in case you accidentally forget and put it on the wrong setting and try to use it. Okay, back to the regular buttons. As you can see here, it has your range buttons. You can toggle between auto range and manual range modes. It will also let you select your cylinders. If you'll see here, you can choose between 1 and 10 cylinders when you're using your RPM IG or dwell function modes. That's how you toggle between it. And it also will let you toggle between your 2-cycle and your 4-cycle when you're working on something such as a motorcycle versus a car engine or whatever. Your percentage of duty button is here. Like when the meter is in the RPM IG function here, it will measure the duty cycle and the percent is displayed here in the readout. Your hold button, which is here, will also turn on or off your backlight, and it will display a H on the screen here. And that's an indication that the meter is in hold button and the preset's reading on the display. In the hold button, the meter detects a new stable reading. The meter will sound and beep in the new stable reading. You exit the hold button by pressing the button again, and the H will disappear. As you see, it's got REC. That is a recording function mode. When you push that button, it will have a R with a square around it that will pop up on the display. This function allows you to record a maximum or minimum or average values for the series of measurements for the functions that the meter is set in. The meter will beep each time a new max or min value is recorded. The meter can record up to 24 hours when pushed on the record mode, which is pretty cool. And that way you can not have to babysit everything all the time, and for intermediate problems that will pop up, that's going to help you diagnose those. In the top of the meter here, it's got the USB port, which can be hooked into your computer. So that's pretty much all the functions what each button does and each position in the dial does for the meter, guys. So we'll go back out and we'll talk about some of the things such as the amp clamp and the test lead kit. All right, guys, so we kind of covered some of the basics of the functions and the buttons on the multimeter. So in this bundle, as I mentioned earlier, you also get the amp clamp. And we will run over some of the things about the amp clamp. Of course, it'll plug directly in the front of your voltmeter or your common, and this one will go in the amperage hole. And if we will take a close look at the front of this voltmeter, you can see it's got some switches on it, which is off, 400 amp or 1500 amp. And you can also zero your DC. It's got an adjustment on it so you can set it to 0. As you can see, it does open up pretty wide, so you can get some large wires in there. Super strong clamp. It's a very nice amp clamp. So that's the meter and the amp clamp that we covered. This meter is pretty advanced. You can do a lot of things that I would never use, and a lot of things that I don't even know how to use. It's got a ton of functions and a ton of tests that you can do with it. Now, this meter is going to be one that if you buy starting out, you'll definitely be able to grow into, or if you're more advanced in your electrical diagnostic work, this meter will allow you the room to do the test that you need. Granted, mostly what we do here is DC voltage. We do some amps, and we do a lot of ohms to see if we got a short or a short to ground or whatever. And this meter is very sufficient for that. But also in this kit that comes with everything for $349.99, you get this amazing test lead set. And that part number is ET95902. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I actually purchased this set from the Mack truck recently. It's got a bunch of different stuff in it. We'll go over it real quick. It's got some different probes with back probes in it. It's got your standard probes here, as well as your probes that are back probes. So you can pin ECM connectors, TCU connectors, whatever you want to pin with it. You can get in there, and they are interchangeable. You can unscrew them so you can put different tips on them if you buy the back probe kit that Mack sells or any other manufacturer. They're pretty much all interchangeable. But one of the cool pieces that's in this kit that I liked is the wire piercing probe set that comes with it. As you can see, when you pull it back, it exposes the needle. You put your wire in there, you let it go, and it will pierce the sheath and covering on the wire and allow you to test it if you're testing it in line. And it's a real simple fix. You can just put some liquid electrical tape right over that tiny hole when you get through testing it, and it don't hurt anything. It also comes with some alligator clips. Of course, these will plug directly into your test leads. And it does give you a nice set of test leads. They're like 4 foot long. They're quality test leads. They're not some cheapies, but this will plug directly into that. And now you have an alligator clip that you can clip on to get a sufficient ground, or if you're using it on the hot side to get a sufficient hot without having to struggle with it falling off during your testing. So it's a very nice kit. I feel like for $349.99, Mack has done an excellent job with a kit that's going to allow you to have room to grow. I know this is kind of a basic run over with the multimeter because it does do so many functions, but in a situation like this, it's kind of hard to run over everything that this meter would do. It would be a couple of hours long because it has diode test. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's a very nice meter for the money, and hopefully this will answer some of the questions that you guys may have had about this kit. Like always, it is in the flyer, and here's the flyer. If you have not seen this flyer video, there'll be a card at the top of your screen and you can check it out. But the prices are good from June the 8th to July the 5th. So be sure to check this out if you want to get one of these test lead kits with the amp probe and the multimeter. and save yourself some money. Well, that's my video today, guys. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you do, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. It's totally free. It don't cost you guys a dime. Y'all have a great week, and we will catch y'all next time. See ya.